First day after taking a couple days off, how did the team look? Did they look sharp enough, like they hadn't, missed any time?
Yeah, I thought they came back. There was a couple slow spots at the beginning, but once we got it going, I thought they responded very well. I thought it was a very productive practice.
You guys have entered game week, I guess now, so to speak. How much of this is implementation for Utah State, and how much of it is still just getting down the basics?
There's been implementation and basics really since the beginning of camp. We had all summer to kind of know what we wanted to run with a young team. You don't want to introduce it the week before the game. There may be a couple of wrinkles, a couple of what ifs, but we'll fit the rule sets of the packages and all that. But we've been kind of installing right from the very beginning for Utah State.
Coach, you go to a 4-3 look. Who is the third linebacker in there? Assuming you got Reeves, Maben, and
it's either going to be Kurt or Chris Weatherd. Those two guys. Justin King's been the third backer as well.
What do you like about Weatherd?
I like his ability to rush the passer. I think he's got good, good trait in terms of pass rushing ability. Change of direction. He gives us another athlete on the field. He's done some good things in regards to that.
How deep do you go on the defensive line right now? Would you feel comfortable playing 5, 6, 7 players? How many is it?
Oh yeah. Shoot, you can play about 8. Yeah, you get into these games and up-tempo offenses. You got to be able to roll some guys in there. So yeah, no, we're going to play the majority of the 2 deep.
Would you feel comfortable going with 8 right now? 8 deep?
Yeah, I would say. I would definitely say 8. Mm-hmm.
Are you worried about the lack of size at defensive tackle right now?
Yes, I am. Yes. And, we have to have a contingency plan in regards to that, and obviously injuries that could potentially take place or happen at that spot or on the D-line in general. You got to have a plan as far as, what you want to do now.
John, how settled are you in the secondary, particularly at that one corner spot and at safety as well?
We're never settled. I mean, there's always going to be competition. Whoever gets hot, whoever starts making plays is the guy that's going to, get the playing time. So we're never really settled. We'll go in with an initial group to start the game, but then after that, we're going to be able to hopefully roll some guys in there and play whoever is performing well.
Are Michael and Emmanuel kind of going back and forth?
Oh yeah, they go back and forth every day. Yep.
when you're in that 4-2-5, what are those 2 linebackers' responsibilities in pass coverage? What are scenarios where they would end up covering somebody?
Well, their pass coverage responsibilities vary on the coverage. It just varies on, the coverage. They could be on a receiver in a zone coverage. They could be on a tight end. They could be on a back. There's a variety of things that could happen in regards to coverages.
How good are those guys at that right now when you talk about AJ and Maben?
No, I think they're good at, in coverage. They understand it. They're in position. They got to be able to make plays in space. We're always talking about that and working on angles and things of that nature. But no, I'm very comfortable with those two.
When you're in pass rushing situations, do you envision moving some ends to tackle, or do you think your tackles are good enough pass rushers to not make that move?
We'll eventually, once we get going, be able to move some guys around. I don't think that's something that I feel comfortable with right now, based on the youth. So we got to get them comfortable and address that each week as we game plan.
How much do you think it's hurt Kurt Majid being out for almost 2 weeks?
Yeah, he's been staying in shape. He's been in the water, on the treadmill, on the bike, elliptical, all those things. So I think he's done a good job of maintaining his conditioning levels. It's just going to be, getting out there and actually playing, to see what he can do. He hasn't played in the game a long time, so I'm excited for him.
John, what do you think Dwayne and Derek bring off the edge at end?
Yeah, big body defensive ends that can run, change direction. I think I'm glad they're at Tennessee.
Obviously, Tennessee's been last in the SEC in sacks last 2 years.
I know.
These guys to help.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a tall order for a freshman, but certainly you can see that, man, these guys got some skill level and some talent, and that's exciting for us as coaches.
Sorry to remind you about that.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah.
Just the tackle position in general. I know Butch seemed to make that a point of emphasis over the last week, solidifying there.
The defensive tackle position?
Yeah, how do you just feel about the status of that in general, right?
Yeah, I mean, we got about 5 guys that are going to play there and roll them in and keep fresh bodies. It's going to be defensive tackle by committee, really. Yep.
Yeah, how have they looked, man? Do you feel like already at that?
Yeah, I think they're doing fine. I mean, I like the way they practice. I like the way they compete. They're smart. Time will tell when we play somebody in a different color jersey where we're really at.
At that second cornerback position, did Emmanuel hit a wall a little bit, or did Mike Williams really just kind of come on and?
Yeah, I think it's a combination of both. Mike, steadily progressing each and every single day, and Emmanuel, it's a lot for a true freshman, obviously, and Emmanuel's he's going to play, so we'll figure it out as we move forward.
What all do you like about Mike Williams?
I think Mike's got great quickness, change of direction, suddenness. I think he's a good press corner. I think, to say that, I think he's a good off corner too. If he just slows down a little bit, sometimes he's a little fast, but I like Mike's skill set.
How many freshmen do you expect to be playing on defense in a couple of weeks? I mean, how many freshmen do you think you're all going to see in the field?
Man, that's gonna vary. I would say anywhere from 11 to 13
on defense.
Mm-hmm.
How many, Sean?
I'm say 11 to 13 as we move forward.
Have you ever played that many before?
No.
No. Does that include like whether to newcomers or freshmen specifically?
Well, I consider Weathered a freshman. Okay. Yeah, first-year player.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
With as many things as Kirk does, obviously, not just his leadership role, obviously, but also, I guess, the versatility he brings and his role in the defense. How big is it to get him back out there? Maybe it's not game week, get him out there a couple practices before game week even starts to kind of get back in football shape.
And you're talking about Kirk getting him back? Yeah, no. He's got to get back and get back out there. You know how it is. It's one thing to condition on a treadmill in the water and on a Stairmaster and a bike, but it's another thing to play football. So we got to get him back out there. So
do you think
feel for that?
I guess for his teammates to see him back out there, knowing that he's such an important role in the defense, that boost spirits a little bit out there on the field today. I know he's been kind of out there, out there anyway, but to have him back out there in pads and hitting and everything.
Yeah, it's an added bonus.
With a guy like Weathered, what is it that makes you decide we're going after a junior college guy?
The type of player they are, just normal recruiting process.
Is it more on need than immediate?
Yeah, you're always gonna trying to address needs, and if you feel like, hey, we can't necessarily address our needs, you're gonna take the best available player that makes your team better.
What are your expectations